Welcome to Wisdom on the Front Porch, the original think tank, where wisdom, laughter, friendship, and ingenuity are shared by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs.
Hi, welcome to another great episode of Wisdom on the Front Porch. And it's windy a little bit today here on my porch, but Kyle is here. You're here. We're going to have a great conversation. So, Kyle, introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, LS, thanks for having me. A great way to start a Friday here. This is like one of 3 snowy days that we've actually gotten here in Denver. So uh, maybe not as windy, but we're getting the chunky flakes. I'm originally from Chicago. I'm an actor, a voice artist, a marketing coach. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. I'm essentially just chronically working.
That's good. We like that.
in some of the best, most fun ways possible.
Oh, that's really good. And I want to hear about that. Why is it fun? What's fun in it for you?
Well, all right, if we kind of break it down into like sort of 2 groupings, one being the acting bit, and then the second being coaching. So, all right, well, acting, what I've kind of come to understand about the industry and about how I operate within it is that I have not found a space, a practice that allows me to be me more fully and more readily than simply being on camera. That is largely, even though you're playing somebody else's character, it's someone else's writing. But they also say, part of the reason that we want you for that role is because we like you. You have weird affectations, and you just whatever quirks make you. Like, bring that to the character. Like that's part of the, I guess, the intrigue factor, maybe.
Really
Okay,
cool. I like that.
yeah, and so like just for like self-acceptance and just knowing, like, all right, I don't know, my version of weird is like, well, that's cool here, man. Like, let's do it. So, all right, well then let's flip it over to coaching. So I've been a marketing agency owner for about a decade now. This was in Thanksgiving 2024, so November-ish. I shut the doors on that whole agency thing. I was like, this is just not the right product for today's market. If you want to get into that, I'm happy to. But regardless, what I ended up kind of spinning out of that period was now this coaching practice. And coaching, the company itself is called Anarchy for a Day, and I believe it's yet another manifestation of simply me. The way that I coach, the way that I teach, it's rooted in the foundations of good business practice, the foundations of what actually works within the marketing world, even though it's changing a mile a minute. But nonetheless, you're dealing with me. Like, you don't sign up for an app, you don't watch just a bunch of educational videos and then just bada bing bada boom, it. You have to deal with me. I'm doing that intentionally. And that's, yet again, it's just another space to very simply be me, but still serve, still be effective, and help to push the ball forward for people who hopefully don't have to endure what I did along the way. Not claiming a victim card here, but I've simply learned a lot through failure.
Yeah. Well, and that's good because failure, I call them challenges. It's just a part of growing your business, a part of having a business, a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
So here, you've already mentioned you took a challenge that you didn't like the way that was happening in marketing. So you created your own and you
Mm-hmm.
made it yours and you help people personally, which I really like. So many people say, oh, pay me this amount of money and you can watch my videos and you're going to be the best at it. Well, you watch the videos and there's still confusion. It's like, okay, this is working for you. What am I doing wrong? Why isn't it working for me? So
Yeah.
actually
And who
talking
can
to
I
people,
talk to about it? Yeah.
yeah, talking to person is great. So if I was to come to you, what would I typically be looking for you to help me in my marketing?
It's a good question. It's largely the makers that are the individuals that I am most suited for. In other words, I'm an educator. That's the role of the coach. So the marketer, like the agency side, That's more so the doer. We will
Okay.
understand the problem, the initiative, the product, as well as the market. And then we will say, all right, well, owner, operator, president, CEO, whoever it is, keep doing all the stuff that you got to do. And then we will essentially take on the marketing bit. In other words, offload a lot of the stress.
Right. Right.
The role of the coach is to teach these leaders what I know, what I've amassed through working with myriad different clientele, through understanding how we should be communicating essentially the product offering to respective marketplaces, individuals. It's marketing is a one-on-one conversation. That's really what it is, because it's you, the business, talking to really one consumer, whether that's an individual or another business. It depends what you're in the market of. So in other words, the makers are the people that are like, you know what, I'm inspired to do this. I understand the tools, the technology, it exists. So largely I can do a lot of this myself. So the conversation with me is meant to say, good, I acknowledge that. I'm going to show you essentially some of the scarier sides of this, but I'm going to also show you how you can expedite this process so that you can find greater success earlier in the process.
Mm. Yeah, that's really valuable too, because a lot of times we spend so much time before we finally get that aha moment, and you're already presenting it to us ahead of time.
And largely it's just
Actually,
having a thought partner too.
yeah,
Someone to just be like, okay, what is happening? Like I need, I need a trusted voice, because inevitably, like one of my clients right now, she's like, oh my gosh, like so many people have ideas for me now that they know that I'm doing my own thing. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's got to be wildly frustrating.
yes,
Yeah.
I get it. I get
Uh-huh.
it. Yeah. I like that you said you talk about the bad things. That's my word, not yours, because I don't think entrepreneurs really want to look at what can happen if things go wrong. What are some choices that we shouldn't make? And I think by presenting those, you help us make better decisions on the wiser choices that will propel us.
Well, it's one of the realities because a good story in my mind, like you kind of understand sort of all sides and all reasons for why something happens. That's what
Yeah.
informs, like, okay, well, the reason we're doing this is because, well, if we're not trademarking our stuff, then other people could potentially come after us, have a legal argument, and then all of a sudden we have to go rebrand, and rebranding itself is not
Right.
a cheap
No,
process.
no.
That suggests if somebody else has the same business name and say you don't have you know the trademark to it, then okay, that could be a potentially very problematic instance.
Absolutely.
And so it's just merely presenting it like that, just to say, like, you know this is a spot where things get a little sticky if, say, a project is not exactly well run. Then okay, it is on you, the leader, to establish very clear boundaries
Mhm.
that will essentially put you in this position of authority and respect. But if you yourself are maybe not comfortable with establishing yourself in
Right.
such a leadership position, then okay, well, now we're in a spot these days where we have AI. Tell AI what the situation is, what's going on, and then that can offload a lot of the initial stress of just how to craft a message that won't be burning bridges the moment you publish it.
Yeah. That's
So
really good advice.
yeah, there's different ways that we can think about this stuff without, like, because I try not to demonize AI, but I am a hardcore creative. I'm an actor,
Yeah.
and I'm not a huge
Well,
fan of
AI
it.
is a tool. We don't let it do everything for us. It is a tool, like your pencil and your paper and your car. You know, your car takes you to the
Exactly.
grocery store, but it doesn't go in and buy the groceries for you. Um,
I,
it's your tool
let's
to
hope
get
not.
there.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be something? No. They have people that do that now. They'll just bring it out to your car, but you got
Yeah.
to get there. And I'm glad you brought that up because AI is a useful tool, whichever
Mm.
one you choose. There's so much out there. Um, but just recently I challenged my AI to create something for me. And I says, you know me, you know what I do. Now I want you to create this outline for people and make sure it's clear so they understand it. I don't need to understand it. I know what I do, but I want them to understand it. And so we went through a little bit of a process to do that. And it did pretty good, but then, it kind of says, well, you kind of forgot about this and you added that. And so you have to kind of refine it, and then you get something that's really incredible. So I'm glad you brought that up. It's a useful tool. I mean,
It should be.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that are maybe feeling a little bit opposite of that, if perhaps they've been put out of work because of it.
Right.
Uh,
And I get that, I I was just talking to somebody about this who watched the movie The Running Man. They did an update on
mm,
it, just redid it. And in that movie, this guy is recording the video. He's trying to explain to people what he's doing, that he's not out there to hurt anybody or anything. But what is shown just a few minutes later is completely opposite, but it's him talking. It's AI that they've used to go through and make him say something that isn't true at all. And it's like,
mm,
that's really scary because that is able to happen right now. People are
yeah.
cloning themselves. They're doing things you don't know what's real. I went to a course that tells you how to clone yourself with AI. And at one point he says, did you notice that? That was AI, but yet the clone itself was saying, I am real, I am not AI. And it's like, well, wait a minute here. I don't want to do
Yeah.
this for you if you're with you, if you're lying about stuff, just trying to show how authentic it is. I already know it's real and it's scary.
Well,
And
that's where it gets
you have
twisted
to
up. I
be
mean, from the
careful.
actor's standpoint, like I think I hopped on like Facebook one day and it had like, animate your profile picture. And it had the preview essentially like right there. And it's simply
Right.
just, profile picture for me, it's a fairly straight faced. And then the AI makes me smile. And the smile was absolutely terrifying because it was not my smile.
Oh,
It is not
wow.
a real
Yeah.
iteration of me, which makes it positively awful. AI has
Right.
this weird way of trying to twist and pervert what is true reality. And so this is why I see people with, AI generated images of themselves. I'm like, I've seen you in person.
Yeah. I
Something ain't right here.
I did put
It's,
some up there. If you go to my Facebook page, you're going to see me as a genie, but you're going to notice my arms are the arms of a man. They're
yeah,
big and
there you
bulky.
go.
And it's like,
That's,
okay, that's interesting. And
I
I
mean,
toned it down from what it was, but it
but
was
then
just for fun. It's just to draw your attention,
it's fun too. But
Yeah,
then if we think
but
about it from the intellectual property standpoint, as the
right.
actor, as a voice artist,
Oh,
my look,
yeah.
my voice, this is my property, and this is my
Yes.
creative revenue generating machine. And if I feed that into an AI system, I'm at liberty to potentially lose my identity
Oh, yes.
because
Yeah.
AI itself is not a protected thing, much as they
Right.
suggest that they are. So for actors, essentially a lot of my messaging is put in your contracts, with the different teams that you're working with, put a note in there, an AI clause that you cannot use it to duplicate, replicate, do anything like that. You need to protect yourself and your image,
And I
because we
have
don't have
seen
enough
that
rules.
in some of the things I've done already. And I
Mhm.
thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. Because you don't want to lose what is yours. You don't want to just give it away to somebody.
Yeah, but for
You know?
people that don't need to, then by all means, go replicate yourself because it makes marketing a whole lot easier if you have
Yeah,
essentially
what do
AI
you
doing it for you.
do? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If they give you a deep manly voice and you're like me, I don't
Well,
want that deep
within
manly
reason.
voice. Maybe when I get cross with my kids.
Hopefully that's not the case. But hey,
They're
if
all
that's what
grown
you're
up.
going for, then all power to you.
Yeah. Well, and you got to have a little bit of fun. It's so true. You can't just be serious all the time, or you lose a lot. Laughter is there to keep you healthy, and strong. I mean, it's been proven so many times in university
Yeah.
studies and other medical studies that laughter is so good for you, and smiling. I mean, if
Mhm.
you've had a down day and you just put a smile on, it takes effort to do that smile after you've been upset, and you just kind of, I'm sorry, I
Uh,
have to laugh here. If
yeah.
anybody's watched The Big Bang Theory, when Sheldon Cooper, the actor Sheldon Cooper, puts a smile on, it's kind of like it just, you laugh at it, but it is so scary. But smiling, look, we just laughed, and that's good.
Oh, it's such a critical thing. The entrepreneur, like the path, it's difficult at times. And laughter is one of those like
Oh yeah.
critical things that just keeps me going.
Yeah. And that's, I find when I've had some real challenges, sometimes I just have to stop and laugh because it's just, oh really? Another one? What's going to happen now? I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And boy,
like,
it's only
okay,
Tuesday. Oof.
yeah. Did I really wake up Monday this way? I mean,
Yeah, right. Sometimes things just get so wild. You're like, oh,
okay,
cool. Yeah.
let's keep on going.
Let's see what else this day's got in store.
Yeah. Come on, bring it on. What's next?
Yeah, we're still standing barely, but here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's really great that you not only do your acting, but you're helping other people get where they need to go. Now, a lot of people think, wow, those are two really opposite things. How do you keep it separated? And does one overtake the other? Because a lot of people do have two jobs. They're still working for someone else while they're building their entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
Um, and so how do you I don't want to say balance, but what do you do when one kind of overtakes the other for a while and then you bring it back?
Well, there's two components and two very necessary components because if either of these two don't exist, you're not going to be able to succeed with
Okay.
arguably either of them. And that is one, time management, and two, communication. So what I
Oh,
mean by
so
this is
true.
that, time management is probably a little bit more, I think they're both fairly obvious, but I mean, time management is one where, okay, when do you get up? What do you do first thing when you get up? How is it that you wire your brain so that you can find success that day? Do you know the
Yeah.
challenges that are coming ahead? Are you good at switching from task to task quickly, efficiently, and still maintaining focus? There's so much happening these days that it's like ADHD. I think people are just like, even my own ADHD brain is just like, bleh, like it's getting
Yeah.
worse.
It's like
Um,
I don't want the world anymore. My brain's
no, it's a side effect of the time. We just have like social
yeah,
media, TV, games. It's all over the place.
yeah,
Um, but now
and
the next is communication, because if you're in a spot as,
you
yep,
can
get the
see
daily
this.
planner in.
Yeah, and I do, and it's in half-hour increments. And I find when I use this and I've got it set up for what's going on, one, I get to see all that free space that's there. I
Yeah.
call it free space. It's stuff I know what I put in there in between. Some
Yeah.
people feel like they need to write everything that they do, and I'm like, no, I want a little bit of that blank pages so I can breathe. And
This
there you
post-it
go.
notes,
Oh
this is
yeah,
my solution. It's my desk is a mess, but that's how I have to write a post-it note the second I got something. And the moment I do, I'm not going to
yeah.
forget it.
Yeah, and
But,
it's there. And you can
you
put
know,
those in a notebook. I've done that. I put them
yeah,
in little binders. So
there you
they're
go.
always there, but they're not making a mess. So I go through it, like once a week.
Mhm.
What are the ones that are priority? What are the ones that I have accomplished? And what are the ones that were ideas? Okay, put them in the little notebook under ideas. So
Yeah.
that was a really great insight.
So time management, exactly. That's
Yeah.
one. And then the second being communication.
Mhm.
So, all right, acting itself can be a very, very spur of the moment, very taxing ask. When I'm on set, I'm on set. I'm focused on, delivering for whichever team I'm working with, whatever the project is. I'm not really able to be on my phone outside of text and email. I can't be making calls. I can't be on
Right.
podcasts. I'm working. Set life is a lot of hurry up and wait, but you still need to be very careful about how you use your time. But when I have larger client engagements, then, this is that moment where, okay, if I get called to set, I know that I'm pretty much shot. I can't be working.
Right.
on that kind of client while I'm on set. So that's where the communication comes in, because if I'm on set, the client has to know that this is going to affect my ability to operate. Maybe it's going to unfortunately push deadline. If that's the case, then
Right.
early communication is always best. It's not a negotiation. You're just simply saying, like, look, I'm going to, knock it out of the park for you. But you just know that, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to be kind of off air. So,
Right. Yeah, that's good. In fact, the intake form, the one that you filled out, that everyone fills out, I used to have on there, we have cattle. I'm the only one at home to take care of them. If they break out of the fence or the neighbor's cattle comes over, I have to go address the situation right away. So I may be late, or maybe I won't be there at all, but
yeah.
that's usually why. And everybody was really understanding. I just felt a lot of grace from people if I was, 5 minutes late or something, because it has to be done. I ended up closing my curtains during my podcast so I wouldn't see what was happening out there. It's like they can wait for 30 minutes, until I'm done.
Yeah.
But one time we had a fire that was right around us. Everybody's trying to call me and get a hold of
Oh,
me. But I had shut I shut my phone off,
you're
shut
in
everything
podcast
else
mode.
off. And
Yeah.
that's it. If the house is burning down, unless I saw the flames, I wasn't going to stop. But fortunately,
Hey.
they didn't come close to us. It stayed, the local firefighters were really great. Part of which I'm a part of their community. But they were really great at getting to the fire right away. But it was it was kind of like, well, what do I do in this situation? Well, do what I did. I do what I have to do. If I see the flames, well, then I know I need to get out of there.
Yeah.
But um, it's everything was okay, and things usually do work out okay. We need to not panic. That's a big thing, and I think that's one thing. Being a firefighter, being an EMT, is when things get stressful, stop panicking, because that doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
But see what you can do with where you're at and what's happening, and that works so well in business, and sometimes I'm like, why is everybody stressing out so bad? It's like, it's really not that big of a stress, but I come from a different background than they do,
Not everyone's wired
different
like
way
that.
of thinking. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes work environments occasionally treacherous, especially if people don't have the tools, the knowledge to, be able to kind of
Right.
be like, okay, let's woosah here for a second and kind of bring it back
Just
down
a
to
little
earth.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't ever get stressed out. Sometimes I do. I really don't like being late
Oh,
for
sure.
for a
Yeah.
podcast or for my meetings or anything like that, because I want to be there for them, and I don't want them to think I'm a flake or something, that I'm not going to be there.
Mm.
But I think we can all give each other a little bit of grace. 5 minutes is only 5 minutes. We still have a great conversation. But so what
But
kind of acting do you do? I really want to know.
sure. So I'm weirdly enough, I'm finding a lot of like film, like drama stuff. So
Oh,
like there's a team in New York that is going to have me as their lead in their feature film, which I'm delighted, honored, and wildly excited for, because I get to play a character that's the complete total backward of like who I am as an
oh,
individual.
fun.
He's the spoiler alert, he's not a good person.
Oh.
um,
I've heard that from other actors. Just
yeah.
watching interviews with them. They say it's easier to play somebody who's opposite of you because you get to play a character. You don't get to
Yeah.
just be yourself. And they say it's really fun to be yourself, but sometimes it's fun to play that other character that you never
Well,
get to be, but you don't want to be, so you could do
the,
it there.
that intro notwithstanding, it's like he's totally the opposite, but yet there's going to be a lot of opportunity for like Kyleisms to just kind of scoot right in there and just be like,
I like that,
this is a
Kyle.
natural part of this dude.
Oh, it's got
But
creative
then,
notes.
yeah, I get called for lead roles surprisingly often. Occasionally some commercials. Being out here in Denver, we have a majority commercial market, even though we
Okay.
sort of collectively, like we have Sundance coming to Boulder here in 2027.
Oh, nice.
Um, so we're sort of collectively in this like mindset, this mentality of like, all right, let's kind of just raise the tides together so we can get more substantial like film, television back to Colorado, because we have a fantastic state to actually shoot in. Like the topography of it alone
Oh
is,
yeah, it's amazing
it's
there.
immaculate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do that. And I think some of my efforts are in tandem and really lockstep with that to say, like, you know, let's make sure that we have the infrastructure, the safe handling of like firearms on set, you know, to be able to actually do all of this stuff that we as a state would like to be doing. Um, but you know, beyond that, you know, it's an acting school that you know we're all Denver's actually it's weirdly a very supportive environment, and that's part of the reason I like kind of like you know cutting my teeth out here. um there's still good competition, but
You're
it's
not
not
out
horrible.
to stab each other in the back to get where you want to go.
Exactly. So for an industry that's just rife with rejection, it's like it has to lend itself to being able to say like it, it ain't that bad as long as we're doing it with good people.
There you go. Yeah. You know what I would really like? I'm seeing so much of violence and, taking the easy way out and what people would just automatically think for shows. I would really like to see somebody do a show that does something in the opposite. Instead of like grabbing the guy and saying, I'm going to kill you for doing this, it's like, I'm going to give you grace and forgive you for what you did. Don't
Hmm.
do it again. But, you know, and,
Sounds like you got to
and
get right and then.
yeah, yeah. That's a whole nother thing. I was looking at because I have a book that when I wrote it, I actually wrote it like a show in my head, and I didn't realize that's what I was doing at the time. And
Sure.
so I've been looking at doing some of that, and it's like, wow, that's a whole new thing to learn. And it's like, I'm not sure if I'm
It
ready.
is, it's a substantial undertaking. That's the
Yeah,
one thing that I will say. It's not to discourage by any means, but
no,
it's the same way that I handle my coaching is to say, like, if you're looking to build a feature, a series, anything, regardless of even the level of production on the smallest end, this is a big undertaking.
yes, yes.
So
I've talked to a few writers that I know who are doing that. They're turning their book into a movie and listening to them talk and the rewrites and are they getting it right and doing this part and you can't have too much, you can't have too little and it's like, wow, that's and especially with their books because these are nice novels that they have and it's like, wow, I have my little 20-page, 30-page book, my children's book and it's like, oh, I don't know. It's kind of scary, but what do I say? Scare, fear is just a hologram. You just step right through it and go for it.
you just go. That's it. That's all you can do. You know,
Put
sometimes you
that for
just
my
gotta say,
2028 project.
hey, you know, whenever the time is right, just push through that fear and go.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, so what is, we've talked a little bit about, who I would need to be to come to you for help with marketing, but let's just kind of talk about that again. Um, do you help? And I don't want to say anybody and everybody because that really doesn't help anybody. So if you were to just say these three things are what, if you're looking to get these three things done, I'm your person. Or it can be five things,
Mhm.
what would that be?
Well, it, this would be the part where I think a lot of people would be like, if you're looking to like 10x your sales or make $50,000 in 1 month or get 100,000 new followers on Instagram, this would be that part to just throw those big old numbers in. But part
Right.
of the reason that I stand to do what I do is because the individuals that suggest that are largely why marketers are so distrusted because nothing in marketing is guaranteed.
Right.
And so when
Right.
we don't make those marks, what you've done is you've signed a verbal contract with the client suggesting, okay, I can get you 100K new followers. Well, how many of them are real? How many of them are bots? Are these people
Right.
actually, do they care? Why are they here? How are they here? Yada, yada. Um, it's one simple use case, but that fosters distrust very
Yes,
easily.
it does.
So this is in part where I stand to say, like, if you've been screwed by marketers, talk to me for sure. Talk to me, because I am pretty much per all of the different podcasts, the website, like just all of my verbiage is to say, like, look, like here it is, the good, bad, the ugly. This is simply what it is. Take it or leave it. That's up to you.
Right.
The
And
reality is you as an individual, as a customer, need to be in a space where feedback can be accepted. Because if you're not ready and able to shift, adjust, completely change, and rethink how you're doing things, I'm not going to be right for you.
right.
That's a very, very simple thing. So the individuals that need to build as quickly as possible, because they understand, this is kind of that shotgun approach, but we need to be still strategic about how we're building this in a way that, all right,
Right.
well, if we build it on a solid foundation, whatever it is that we build from here, the house, the building, the tower, the monument, whatever it is that we build needs to be sturdy. How you do that is to build on top of a solid foundation. That foundation in the world of digital marketing, that's what I speak to, so that
Right.
you can navigate this building, this structure safely, soundly, efficiently, and have something that's going to last you through times that are changing very quickly and
Oh, they
arguably
are.
terrifying pace. So,
It is. It is. Everything's
yeah,
changing really fast. You need someone to help you navigate through all of that.
yeah,
I know when someone first approached me about my website, it was like, it's okay, but you're not getting any clients, are you? I'm like, no. Yeah, 3 years ago, no. And so it was just, it's not that what I had was wrong. It just wasn't laid out where people understood exactly what I was doing and what it needed to be. Um,
mhm,
my book Baxter's Heart, if you go to lskirkpatrick.com/Baxter, you'll see this nice layout. Well, I had all the right information, but it wasn't to where anybody could read it clearly. And so my coach is helping me lay it out so it just flows really nice. And
cool.
I actually went and looked at it today, and it's like, oh, that really does look nice.
Yeah, and that's
But
largely the job of the coach, is just to say, well, you got good stuff here,
yeah,
but right now it kind of looks like crap. So let's clean it up so that people can walk into this space and be impressed.
yes, yeah, and understand it. I mean, you want people to be understand it. Just because you understand it doesn't mean someone else is going to. That's
Yeah.
where the communication comes in. Your
Mhm.
website is communicating to other people that are viewing it. What
Yeah.
is it communicating?
It's telling a story, and you need to essentially
Yeah,
design it and craft it in a way that whoever you're trying to talk to, whoever your like ideal person is,
right.
they should read it and be like, "Huh, well, that does sound like me." Yeah. The moment you get that in their mind, the opportunity for them to turn into a client is infinitely higher.
Oh, definitely. Yes, absolutely. Oh.
Easier said than done, granted. I'll caveat that.
But it is. But we have to swallow that pride. We have to say,
Yeah.
okay, what I've got is not working. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking right now. So what have you got?
Yeah.
What can you show me? Sometimes I've got people sending me messages all the time. It's like, oh, I can improve this or I can improve that. There is one thing I need to make sure people understand about communication. You have to know what each other are saying. I wanted people to subscribe to my magazine. Well, I said the word subscribe, and the person I was talking to was thinking, oh, you want 15,000 subscribers. And it's like, that isn't what I wanted at all. I wanted people to purchase the magazine so they could get better at what they're doing. It gave them tools that they needed to use as entrepreneurs. But this person was thinking subscribe means I want all these followers. And it's
Mm.
like, well, if they were my avatar, yes, I would want them, but they're just random people, that they're following me, but they never comment or anything. They never ask anything. They never say anything. So you need to have the people that are there. You need to make sure you're speaking the same language, using the same words, that they're
Yeah.
not
And
misunderstood.
vernacular is changing too. And
Mm.
that's where,
Oh, yes.
to
And
subscribe
you're
to
reaching
somebody's
across
YouTube channel,
countries. Yeah,
across countries and all that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
so, finding that universal language, that's when I'm coaching new clientele. A lot of the initial conversations is mostly me getting to know them and largely their vernacular. And then when there's an occasion that we might, cross paths a little bit,
right,
then that's where I say, okay, well, in my world, this means this. So when I hear you say this, I want to make sure that we mean the right things.
right,
So that
right.
clarity, that mutual understanding with any kind of coaching, instance or client work, if you have weird vernacular, you best be defining that right now.
That's right. CRM is another one of those letters that even now somebody will say, yeah, you've got this CRM, and I always ask them, what does CRM mean to you? Because I've had 5 different definitions of CRMs with people, and it's like, wow,
What's the
really,
mutual definition that you seem to have landed on?
yeah, and it's I just want to understand where they're coming from and I even write them down while I'm talking to the person so I can remember how they define CRM. Um, but I haven't come up with my own CRM. Uh,
Like a
what do you
definition.
call it when you come up with letters to go with or words to go with it? Um, because I haven't found anything that really fits just right for what I'm listening. So I always ask everybody, what do you mean by this? You know,
What
uh,
do most people say, or what's the most consistent answer?
it's just your marketing, who your people are. How are you reaching them? How are they reaching you? And it's like,
That's
okay, yeah, see,
exceedingly vague.
yeah,
To me, I mean, it's a customer resource management tool. What this means is essentially it's all right. Now, LS and I, we had a great conversation. Today's March 6th at 11:11 a.m. What did we talk about? It's a database to talk about that, talk about what, LS has purchased, what her potential interest is, where her background is, where she lives. It's so that I can inform every bit of communication that I send to her and customize it in a way that it's going to be that one-on-one conversation. If it's anything more, well, good. Build out the details there. But where it gets broad is just to say that a CRM is marketing.
yeah,
It is a very specific tool.
yeah. That's good. I'm glad you brought that up and explained it how you
Well, it's
think.
part of what I teach on. I have
Yeah.
an entire course, the CRM to website development, management,
Oh, good.
execution. Firing over to the site, it's anarchyforaday.com, and you can see exactly the boom, 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 all the different sections I teach.
That's really wonderful. I love that. And I was just about to ask you too, how do people get a hold of you? Where do they find you? How do they learn from you? Because you've got
Well,
great
that's
information.
one of the easiest ways. The rest, I have a whole blog section where I'm putting all these different podcasts too, because a lot of these are like the podcast conversations. Like you guys are all extraordinary question askers, which means cool. Like anybody who listens is probably going to learn something.
Oh,
And
yes.
a lot of these podcasts ask about AI. Some of them, they're talking about like, all right, well, what marketing tools are the most important or longest lasting? I'm like, well, that just depends on what the product and who you're talking to,
That's what I
situation.
was thinking too, because it's going to be different. Somebody's selling
Yeah.
shirts,
I
they're
can't say
going to
that
have
t-shirts are going to be the best
completely
thing for
different
you.
marketing tool than
Yeah.
a podcast or a book.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all kind of like it's just a database. I mean, there you can get to know me through more podcast conversations. There's
And that's
been
true.
plenty of them. If you want to give me a follow, it's kylemerrick.actor on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Probably easiest, best ways to keep in touch.
Yeah. So tell us your website again, Anarchy
Anarchyforaday.com. And that's
for a day.
FOR, not the number 4.
Okay. I love that.
Yep.
That is such a good title.
Anarchy in my mind, it's just, I know it's a wild, wild name, but it's kind of intentional because if somebody's so scared of anarchy, of something different, well, then it's probably going to be a tumultuous client relationship. So,
There you go.
chances of them not being a great client are fairly high. But the reality is, anarchy very simply means if everybody goes left, How is it that you go right and you separate yourself so that you end up in your own blue ocean? So anarchy is a means of tactical differentiation. That's it.
Yeah. And I like it, anarchy for a day, because we can kind of leave all of our fears and everything away,
Yeah.
involved with you for a day, find out what's going on, and then
Mhm.
it's like, well, maybe I don't want to pick those back up. I shed them. Let's go this direction.
Well, like a little bit here and there is good. Like if you're
Right.
anarchy for every day, like
No,
that to me is just exhausting. Like
no.
it's too much. People are going to be like, I don't. You are an exhausting business entity, an
Yeah.
individual. So use it tactfully in very specific circumstances that you can back it up with data to say, okay, well, all these other folks, your competition, they're doing this. If you intentionally do other things to help set yourself apart, that maybe these other companies, businesses, individuals are a little too scared of, maybe they're too shackled.
Right.
Well, good. Maybe there's opportunity there. That's what you need to look at.
Yeah, that's really good. Because there's 8 billion people in the world, and there's plenty to go around. And I look how many authors there are, but I don't really look at anybody else's competition. Look at all the podcasts. I don't look at them as competition because they all bring something different to the table. They all serve. All those 8 billion people do not want the same thing at the same time in the same way. They all
Yeah.
want it different at different times, different ways. And even as your entrepreneurship, as you get further into it and you grow and you get up to a different level, you're going to need different things as you go along that way. So everybody can help serve everybody in a different way.
I most certainly agree with that. Whether or not the world is mutually of that mindset is questionable, but I believe that to be a great one, especially like in the world of nonprofit. I think we see that probably most readily.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. All right. Thank you so much, Kyle, for being here. I really enjoyed talking with you. I'm glad we got to sit on my porch together. And I thank your audience for being here, sitting on our porch with us. And if you have questions for Kyle, get a hold of him. And if you want to be an anarchist for a day, go to Anarchy for a Day and check out his website, see what it's like, and find out about his acting career, find out about his marketing, how it can help you. And we'll see you next time on Wisdom on the Front Porch.
Don't just listen. Join the conversation. Tell us what you're building, what's challenging you, and what you've discovered along the way. Your question could inspire an entire episode, and your experience might be exactly the encouragement someone else needs. We'll save you a seat on the porch.
Subscribe, ring the bell, like, and share the wisdom.